How's it, guys? I hope you can see that the scenery that I've installed for this part of Arizona is slightly more high resolution than what I was flying with last time when I was in the helicopter. Yeah, I got a very high resolution pack of this portion of Arizona. Includes Phoenix, the Superstitions. I think as far north as the Grand Canyon. That's a cool thing about it. Explain. Oh, there's a thermal. I think let's climb. We need to climb a bit more. So what I want to do is do a spiral climb in the middle of this thermal, and hopefully we don't get dumped out of it. Yeah, I think we just lost it. No. Right, there it is. There's a little bit. Yeah, we're on the edge of it though, so I'll carry on. There'll be more to come. There's another one straight away. Yeah, so this is a glider. It's an ASK 21 trainer. It's actually quite a nice little machine. I have never been in an ASK. The last glider I flew in was a Nagrab 103, which was a very nice dual seat trainer. Gliding is very minimalist. It's just you, the sun, the wind, and your skills. You've got to stay aloft because gliders don't have engines, so you've got to find rising air, either from a ridge lift or thermals in this case. Let's try and catch this one. What I'm doing is no, lost it again. I keep getting booted out of them. What you're trying to achieve is to stay aloft as long as possible, or to go as far as possible. Gliders often will do cross-country tasks. So you're going to swan around, you're going to try and find some thermals or rising air. There's one. No? Yeah? You're going to try and find some rising air and climb in it. Like, okay, this looks reasonable. This looks reasonable. And your variometer, that's the thing, the instrument on the top left, is going to be beeping like mad. That tells you you're in rising air. And the trick is to do a spiral climb whenever you're in rising air, and then you just cruise around until you find another thermal. Oh, there's another one there. There's actually too many of them. I don't know how the weather is set up in this particular scenario, but there seems to be thermals every 500 meters. Anyway. Yeah, gliding. Great fun. Really, really cheap too. I know if you want to fly an old school glider, you can fly for like $10 an hour, and some airfields in Texas have old trainer gliders from the 50s and 60s, which are still really good aircraft, and take a lot of skill to stay aloft. This is a modern plane, so I think it's fiberglass or carbon fiber, and it goes forward. I think that it will go forward like 38 feet for every 1 foot it drops, which, if you think about it, is a fairly ridiculous glide ratio. Now, what's going on here? Sorry, I'm pressing the hat again. However, I am coring this thermal nicely. So I'm doing about 110 k's an hour. Nose is just below the horizon. Okay, speed is dropping there. And I've just climbed a couple of 100 feet. And I'm coming around into the end. Yeah, alright, that's enough for now. Yeah, as you can see, this high resolution pack, terrain pack for Explain, is rather impressive. Much more impressive than the pixels and fake buildings that I had last time when I took the helicopter out to Horse Mesa. I just thought I'd show you the results of installing this pack. It took me 4 days to download, a full day to decompress and convert to suitable format for X-Plane. And but I think it's worth it. This really realistic, very realistic indeed, and pretty taxing on this machine, but worth it just for the experience. Yeah, oh, that's lovely. One really does get a sense that you are flying over the superstitions here. Not really climbing a whole lot in this thermal. Oh well, let's carry on. I'm taking the same course as I did last time, which was roughly 45 degrees from Falcon Field Airport out to and following was it the Salt River? Yeah, I think we're following the Salt River, and we're going to hit a reservoir or two and then follow the course, and then we're going to turn left, well, turn north, and see if we can fly to Horse Mesa and the dam beyond it. I don't think I'll be able to land a glider on top of a Horse Mesa helipad, but if I tried, it would be a better job surely than I did with a helicopter last time. Generally rising air. This is pretty good actually. In real life, thermals are, depending on the season, are much more spotty. You've got to pay enormously close attention to the world around you and what your glider's doing. And of course the simulation doesn't give you the feel of an aircraft. I mean, you're going to feel when you're sitting in one, and you hit a thermal, you know, your seat gives you a boot in the pants, and if you drop into some sink, you know, it feels like you're going over the top at a roller coaster. Instruments tend to lag a bit, so it's always good to feel what your plane is doing rather than relying on your instruments. And if you're in a glider, you should be head on a swivel anyway, because you shouldn't be fixated too much on your instruments. You need to keep a good lookout. Other gliders may be trying to enter the same thermal as you. There might be other aircraft that can't see you. Yeah, you've got to keep your eyes open. There was quite a nasty accident in South Africa a few years back. 2 gliders, I think they were actually racing. They were down in the Free State near Gariep Dam, which is a fantastic site for gliding. It's right next to the biggest dam in the country, and there's this lovely open grass area. I mean, it's enormous. It's really huge, and I know a lot of German guys and gals book years in advance for an opportunity to come and soar there. But there was a competition there. I think it might have been even a national or a world champs, and 2 guys weren't looking and collided, and one was killed. He didn't have time to deploy his parachute. So, moral of the story, keep a good lookout. Just wanted to talk about the book for a bit. Ben has left us, I think permanently this time. I think he's safely back in 1849 now. Tony made some good points last night on Gab. I think that if I'm going to write a book on BD-Anon, it's going to be a series of essays on various aspects of how the world really works that he's told us over the years. I don't think a narrative-driven text like my Q book is, because that really was a kind of, you could tell it in order. You know, it went from FBI and on to various things happening to Q and so on. It was that was easy. It was easy to tell a story with. With Ben, it's a bit more ambiguous, but I think we can certainly cover. It can certainly cover all the things he's told us. And thinking of chapters like, you know, the vaccine and space and time, and the burning bush and the Christ. Sure, that'll get a few eyebrows raised, that one. And what I'll do is I'll write them up and put them on Substack, and then you guys can comment below and give me feedback. And hey, you left out X and Y. Great. Let me do it. I'm not going to go and shut myself away for 6 months in my office and bang something out like I did with the Q book. I think this should be much more in the open, and I think it needs to be out much quicker. I think if I can write 2 or 3 of these essays a week, or certainly 2 seems to be the upper bound probably, of a couple of thousand words each, and we do, 10 weeks, 3 months, you can have a decent, that's a decent deadline. The end of winter in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere, the end of summer in the northern hemisphere, you can have something out there. Thought we had a thermal there, but we didn't. We've just been dumped out. Ah well. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Okay, this is that reservoir where you got to turn down it. There's still quite a bit of lift. I'm still at around 3,000 feet. Strangely enough, the hardcore glider guys don't really enjoy X-Plane. They say that there's a bug with its ambient sink rate, which is kind of the default rate that you're going to sink while you're going along in normal air. And after having played around with it, I can see their point. But I must say, to me, if you can set up the weather correctly, you can set up the weather favorably enough for you to get yourself a decent gliding experience out of this, which I must admit I'm certainly enjoying, especially with this high-res. This high-res scenery is really spectacular, and I haven't even turned on everything yet. I'm just checking out the textures and the terrain, and they're great. Anyway, let's continue along here. Yeah, the book. So I think something sort of done in the open as quickly as I can, and everyone contributes, and with corrections and ideas and things that I've forgotten. And it won't be so much, there will be some narrative there. I think we need a chapter on certain incidents where BDNON was involved behind the scenes, like in the Soleimani assassination, and the interrogation of the guy who killed both Seth Rich and Jeffrey Epstein. I think, that needs to get out there. What else? His time in Venezuela, which there wasn't really anything public that we could point to and say, aha, there's a proof. But I definitely am going to have a list of proofs, because I've been keeping them for obvious reasons. I've been keeping lists of proofs where Ben said something and it happened, and this guy knows what he's talking about. He's telling the truth. He's not jerking us around. I have nearly 100 of those, detailed, specific, accurate future events in geopolitics, and it's important, because people who are new to this, they want to say, hey, is this really true? Did this really happen? And you can say, yeah, well, look at this. The vaccine was promised us, and it was promised us 2 months before it actually happened. They said this was going to happen, and sure enough it did. So evidence, the evidence of your eyes and your ears. That's pretty much the only criterion I have to check if somebody's credible, is do they predict the future? And if they do, then yeah, I pay attention. I pay attention very closely indeed. If somebody can predict future events in world affairs, or if they know in the mind of somebody powerful like President Trump. One of the most spectacular and yet the most understated proofs of Ben was in, I think it was 2019. He said the president would be addressing the media the next day, and that was on I think it was on a Sunday. He said that on May the 31st. I think it was 2019. No, it must have been 2020. And it was the next, and there was nothing happened the next day. Nothing. I mean, it got up to like, it got up to 6-7 o'clock in my time, which is 5 or 6 hours ahead of EST, and people were saying, yeah, Ben, you know, BD and On's alive. And then suddenly this announcement came from the press office that President Trump would be addressing the media in the Rose Garden. And I thought, yes, bingo, confirmed. Okay, as you can see, I have turned down the Salt River, which actually looks like a river. Nice. And the canyons don't look like blobs. They actually look like canyons. And this is the route to take you to Horse Mesa. Oh, is there a bit of lift there? I think I might need this. I don't know whether this is the ridge or the wind or something. I definitely need to climb a bit more. I'm only at what, 2,500 feet or so. Let's see how far we can get. Let's see how far. Let's see if I can make the dam. Yeah. Dithering too much. I think now we're getting ridge lift, so the wind is coming in from the west and it's hitting these ridges and it's going up. And if you're a glider, you can glide along the edge of ridges and stay aloft for however long you like, as long as the wind is blowing. So maybe this is what's saving on my ass right here. Wish this joystick wouldn't do that. Yeah. Yeah, definite ridge lift. Okay, so I think we are gonna make the dam after all. So yeah, slightly improved Superstition Mountains model. Again, this is not completely turned all the way up because otherwise then it would crash my computer. I think I'm going to get myself a new video card with staggering amounts of video RAM. And of course somewhere along here is that the dam there? Yes it is. So right below us now, there, well, as you can see, just to the left of my cockpit is the confluence of the Salt River and the Fish River, and that is where that's where that ship is, under the silt. And we've been given the go-ahead to start looking for it. I mean, I agree with what MM said yesterday, that this, or it might have been this morning, this is, you know, we've been given a go-ahead. Our efforts, or her efforts, are going to lead to an amazing discovery, and an ancient Roman ship with copper plates, and maybe a copy of the Critias, Plato's missing dialogue. I mean, it's going to be the archaeological find of the century, let's face it. And my dear friend Lady Slipper is going to be thoroughly deserved in taking a whole lot of credit for that, for her hard work on doing the hard work in the background. Yeah, so there we have it. We made the dam, yay! This is the dam beyond Horse Mesa. We just flew past Horse Mesa. I'm not going to land because there isn't a place to land, unless there is something over there. No, this is the Superstition Mountains. It's not really a place that you can land gliders. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, just thought I'd show you the high-res. Yeah, sure. It's the high-res pack. Not turned up all the way, but turned up most of the way, and you can tell it's a vast improvement. And a glider, which is different to a heli. Anyway, so. Going to save this replay, but for now, cheers.